The Royal Rumble is a yearly event in WWE that kicks us off on the road to WrestleMania. Every year, 30 competitors battle it out in an over the top rope battle royal to determine who goes on to WrestleMania and challenges for a world title. After the Rumble, we have a good idea of if we are looking at an epic mania or if it might be a dud. Quite a few times, WWE has picked the wrong guy to win the Rumble match, and it dampened the buzz going into WrestleMania. With this episode, we are going to look at what I think were 5 of the worst Rumble winners. Before we get to the list, remember to hit that like and subscribe button to stay in the match. Let's start the list. Number 5, 1993 Royal Rumble, Yokozuna. Now, I don't really think Yoko was a bad choice. I enjoyed his WrestleMania 9 match with Bret Hart, and I think the big man was a great WWE champion. I just think it would have made for a bigger event if they had Macho Man Randy Savage win the Rumble. Savage still had a lot left in the tank during this time and was itching to mix it up with the new stars of the WWF. Razor Ramon, The Undertaker, Marty Jannetty, and Shawn Michaels, who were an explosive tag team that just broke up, and current WWF World Heavyweight Champion Bret Hart. Hart and Macho Man had past matches on Saturday night's main event that were good. Putting them in the main event of WrestleMania for the world title would have provided them a bigger stage with higher stakes to put on a match that would have went down as one of the best matches of all time. Dave Meltzer would have gave it 5 stars even if it did take place in the parking lot of a casino. Also, I couldn't imagine the level of politicking and backstabbing that would have gone on when Hulk Hogan found out he was having a meaningless tag match in the middle of the show and Macho Man was in the main event. Number 4, 2014 Royal Rumble, Batista. The Animal Dave Batista would make his return to WWE after a 4-year absence and go on to win his second Rumble match. During this Rumble match, Roman Reigns would establish himself as a star, eliminating 12 guys and setting the record for the most eliminations. The crowd really seemed to get behind Roman during the match. I think Roman winning would have made for some interesting TV going into Mania. The Shield had been mercenaries for the Authority and had helped keep the title on Randy Orton. Having one of their own earn a title shot, you could have the Shield turn and decide they want the world title and all the power that comes with it. Batista could have faced Triple H at WrestleMania 30, and you could still work Daniel Bryan into the title match if you want the WrestleMania moment. Randy Orton with the Authority behind him versus Roman Reigns with the Shield behind him versus Daniel Bryan with the fans behind him would have made a great WrestleMania main event. Number 3, 1999 Royal Rumble, Vince McMahon. The McMahon and Austin feud didn't need a McMahon win here. They don't even tease the idea of Vince going on to WrestleMania. The next night on Raw, he forfeits his title shot at WrestleMania, saying he won't be facing The Rock, but would choose The Rock's opponent. Apparently, Vince ran the company but didn't know the rules of the Royal Rumble because out comes the WWE Commissioner, Shawn Michaels, who informs him that by the law of the WWE rulebook, since he forfeited his Royal Rumble win, that win would go on to the runner-up, who was Stone Cold. I would much rather they had Stone Cold win this one. It would have been historic, as not only would it be his 3rd win, but it would also be the 3rd in a row. Let us know right away that Austin and Rock are on a collision course at WrestleMania 15. If you want McMahon to keep the heat with Austin, you could have Vince set up roadblocks for Austin on the way to Mania. I think this decision was just an ego trip for Vince, wanting to say he won the Royal Rumble, and it results in making the list of the worst Rumble winners. Number 2, 1989 Royal Rumble. Big John Studd. This match had several guys that would have benefited from winning the Royal Rumble. Ted DiBiase and Mr. Perfect were two great heels that could have done a lot with a big win like that. Or if you want to get over the idea of a big man winning, Hakeem and Big Boss Man were both coming off a huge feud with the Mega Powers and would be worthy of the win. Instead, Big John Studd would be the last man standing here, and then he did virtually nothing after this. This was before the Royal Rumble winner earned a shot at the world title, so Studd would go on to be a guest referee for the Jake Roberts versus Andre the Giant match at WrestleMania 5. For me, I would have had Jake the Snake Roberts win this Royal Rumble. You could have him and Andre as the last two, and after taking a beating from Andre, Jake rolls out of the ring and grabs his pet snake, Damien. The Giant was afraid of the snake, and Andre eliminating himself out of fear would have made for a huge win for Jake. It would also add to their Mania match. Jake is a legend in the business that doesn't have a lot of titles or accolades. Giving him a Rumble win would be something big. Number 1, 2011 Royal Rumble. Alberto Del Rio. This was the only Rumble to feature 40 combatants. So they passed up 39 other guys and picked probably the worst guy. Alberto Del Rio was shoved down our throats and held multiple world titles and had main event feuds that he wasn't worthy of. There was really no buzz for his world title match against Edge going into WrestleMania 27. There were a handful of guys in this Rumble match that could have had a great match with Edge. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, or Randy Orton would be great Mania opponents for Edge. But personally, I would have picked a guy that wasn't in that Rumble match. Christian had been out with an injury, but I believe he was cleared by the time of the Rumble. Christian winning the Rumble and going to face his best friend for the world title would have been a great match for WrestleMania. But like I said, pretty much anyone would have been better than Del Rio. In the comments, let us know your views on who was the worst Royal Rumble winner.